Good morning, magic. I should check YouTube and see what folks have been saying on the robot video. Wait, what the? Hello? Where did you all come from? Goddamn. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Hen, or I write robots on the internet, self-described robot kisser and Optimus Prime's #1 sugar baby. Welcome to another video where we talk about all things robots in Magic the Gathering. And let me just start off by saying, holy cow, thank you all so much for the love on defining robots in Magic the Gathering. 5k views is like an absurd number of people to my mind. I had no idea this silly little magic video of mine was going to reach so many of you, but I'm very pleased that it did. I'm reading every comment, taking feedback and critique into consideration, and hopefully improving a bit as I keep making videos. Thank you all so much for your kind words and silly responses. I've greatly enjoyed reading all of your thoughts. To share a bit of my insights into the process, I'd like to try to keep up momentum, so I'm going to shoot for a video every couple months here, and we'll see how it goes. I'm also putting together a small Patreon, which might be a bit preemptive, we'll see. But I figure it would at least give us an avenue to discuss the video creation process. You could support me if you'd like, that kind of thing. Maybe we can vote on topics, or you can suggest them, things like that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll link the relevant socials in the video description if you want to take a look. But for now, let's shift gears just a little bit. Since the release of Defining Robots, I've been working really hard to try to make a good follow-up video discussing Magic's best typal robots, the mirror. If you've watched Defining Robots, this should be no surprise to you. And if you haven't watched it yet, hey, you should go do that real fast. It's silly, I promise. Progress started out real strong on the mirror video. I got custom art done, had probably too many pages of script written out, etc. And then when I sat down to put it all together, I kinda just collapsed under the weight of the project. The video topic meant so much to me, and I wasn't sure how it would do compared to the success of the prior video, and I was frustrated with my inability to not get the script more succinct. I just had so much to share. My brain would implode whenever I thought about it for very long. So if you're wondering where that video is, I'm still working on it, I promise. Just taking a bit of a break. I'll come back to it after this video with maybe a bit of a new perspective. So today, what are we doing? Well, speaking of new perspectives, I want to visit an old perspective, as it were. You all had a lot to say about defining robots, so I'd like to address some of the comments, questions, and general buffoonery you also willingly provided me in the comments. Let's get started. First up, I've got a couple self-corrections I'd like to issue. I figure the polite thing to do before I put all of you on blast is to do the same thing for myself first and foremost. So, what did I get wrong? Well, I spent the whole 30 minutes of the video calling it an artifact supertype, which is completely incorrect. Got a lot of comments on this one. Artifact is a card type, not a supertype. I actually issued this correction on day 1 as a pinned comment. I realized what I had been saying after recording like half of the audio and decided it just wasn't worth correcting at that point into the project. But yes, that's completely incorrect, and that's on me. In a similar vein, this infographic I have labeling the types lists Planeswalker here on Grist as a supertype, which is also incorrect for the same reason. That's still a card type. The only supertypes are Basic, Legendary, Snow, and World. Everything else is a card type or a subtype. Whoops. Yeah. Alright. Moving on. Next, let's tackle some you corrections. No, wait, that sounds weird. I mean corrections from you. Now it's your turn to clown on me. No, not those clowns. Get those unrobots out of my face. Ugh. Anyway, what did you all think I got wrong? I'll go through a couple highlights and try to group people by similar comment if I can, but I'm sorry in advance if I miss your comment specifically. Also, I'm going to censor usernames just to be safe, but you know what you commented, so I hope you can still recognize your own words. To start, gnomes. I got a couple folks who pointed out that there are non-artifact gnomes, and thus it shouldn't be an automatic robot subtype. This is true, but I still disagree and think that gnome is a robotic subtype. I know the Forgotten Realms and Baldur's Gate sets weren't triangle stickered, but to my mind, and I think common consensus as well, they're still a crossover set. Sure, it's a Wizards IP with D&D, but I mean, it's basically universes beyond. And I will continue to treat it as such until Wizards makes Minsk and Devar Kell wrestle each other shirtless. I would also accept Soren Markov and Strahd having hot anyway, point is, the robotic gnomes are the portion of the subtype that is really truly Magic's take on gnomes, and thus I'm really only concerned with Magic's gnomes, not D&D's. Sorry, Oswald. Now, there is exactly one gnome in Magic proper that isn't a robot, and that is, Quorum Trench Gnomes from Legends. So, yeah, alright. Sorry guys, it sounds like he was here first. You don't get to be a robot anymore, gnome. Into the trash with you. Moving on then. The next most common comment I got on the video was concerning Brea and Silas Wren, or maybe just the plane of Esper as a whole. Hello, Esper fanbase. I did not know you exist, but I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. I got more than one comment remarking that the people of Esper aren't robots. If you're unfamiliar, the people on Esper make use of a semi-magical metal called Etherium to augment their own bodies, often to the point of being more metal than flesh. It's part of why almost all the creature cards depicting people from Esper are artifacts. We can see this on Silas and Brea as well as other characters from Esper like Tezzeret. Now, I don't think Brea and Silas are as robotic as, say, something like a Dragon Engine. They're kind of middle of the road, like I talk about in my video with the Phyrexians. They still inhabit this space partially between organic and inorganic. I don't think they definitively scream mechanical, but they definitely fall somewhere in the ballpark of biomechanics. To my mind, this is a good exercise in the flexibility of the system I present. It allows for differences of creative opinion. If you think Brea looks sufficiently mechanical, then the art is a tiebreaker for considering her a robot. If not, then she's not. But I think there's a more interesting conversation that's happening here. Some of the comments I got about this insisted that Brea and Silas were more akin to cyborgs specifically, and not robots. And I guess I just don't really see the point in making that distinction. Like with the Phyrexians, is a being of machine and flesh not still in part a machine? In a game that types its creatures by all of their relevant features, is a cyborg not just a construct human? Maybe even just an artifact human? This game dabbles a lot in the realm of biomechanics and transhumanism, even if Esper's particular flavor of it is more magitech than crunchy body horror. I feel like it ought to count the same, right? It just begs the question, where do we begin to draw the line on augmented people as machines? Tezzeret isn't a character I think most people would consider a robot, but he's just a head now. His entire body is made of darksteel as of March of the Machine with the excellent short story A Man of Parts. Is he not a machine? Because really, he's more machine than anything else at this point. Okay, well, percentage-wise, he's probably more scheming and spite than anything else by volume, then machine, then human brain. Silas Wren visually falls into a similar category. That man's just a head. But a lot of you in the comments would still categorize these people as not robots, which is just really interesting to me. I feel like I'm being reverse Diogenesed, which will be the second time I've made that joke in 2 videos. Bellerin, why have you stapled a brain to this machine? Not a machine, Baltrus. A person. This is Tezzeret, obviously.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of Etherium.
Oh, you're right. Hey, Tez. Jokes aside, I just thought it was interesting that so many of you disagreed with me listing Esper residents as robots. This isn't really a quandary I have an answer for, nor one that I seek to answer. Really, I think it just comes down to what kind of science fiction you've consumed and how that forms the basis for your perception of the genre and its tropes as a whole. Personally, I don't care to draw that line between cyborg and robot for somewhat obvious reasons. If it's mechanical, I'll kiss it on the mouth. I don't care if it's still mostly human or whatever. To my mind, a cyborg or magical metal man is still robotic in flavor, and I'm kissing that dang thing. To get us back on track here just a bit, Brea and Silas don't fit the best into my robot classification system. But I spend the whole video addressing that really, and showing how that's fine. My system isn't perfect. I'm fairly upfront about that. It has a handful of cards that it fails to classify categorically because it wasn't designed to. It was designed to be subjectively flexible. If Brea isn't robot looking enough for you, that's fine. If you count cyborgs as non-robots, then sure. I'd be curious to hear where you draw the line on cyborg versus robot and to what extent you feel a machine can have organic components, but that's a conversation for an entirely different video. We've spent a lot of time here, so I hope that addresses the concerns a little bit. I think it's time to move on. Okay. We've waxed poetic about the machine and the flesh for long enough now. I did promise some buffoonery, so I think it's time to deliver on that. This video's already getting longer than I would like it to be, so we're going to have to do this real fast. But I thought it would be fun to address some of the other comments you all left for me. There's not a good segue here, trust me, I've tried. Let's just get going. First up, robot just means artifact creature. You know, I tried to write a witty response to this one, but I think letting the cards speak for themselves is just way funnier. Remember, kids, all it takes to be a robot is holding a couple of spears with your buds. Next. Art is all that matters for if it's a robot. Okay, here we go. Without the art on this card, we can still tell it's a robot in a number of different ways, ranging from its name to its type line to the metacontextual narrative we're told by its abilities. You can invest mana into this creature to modify its mechanics, or perhaps activate the mechanical components that allow it to fly, such as turning on an engine. Boom! This is a robot without even needing the art. As I illustrated with Juggernaut in the last video, magic art is varied and can change our perception of a card entirely by itself, so it shouldn't be our only defining factor. Plus, sometimes an art description is even misinterpreted by the artists. We can't leave defining a card entirely up to the art. I hope I've illustrated that. Pun intended. Moving on. Are you Brazilian? Brother, I'm from a different country altogether. Next. You're gonna get lead poisoning from all that kissing. Bah. Words of a coward. Out of my way, gay boy. I'm about to bring tender warmth to the cold machine.
Hospital.
It would be nice to see a set based on a plane with no magic, probably due to Eldrazi or something. What? Oh, okay. I think you might be lost, friend. Here, take this map. You're going to want to take a left at the power plant and go past the mine, then turn again at the tower. The Eldrazi power scaling video essays are actually on that side of YouTube. Yeah. We're just kissing robots over here. And finally, yet another based reason Unfinity is the best set, finally giving us the robot creature type? Alright, everyone point and laugh. Someone didn't actually watch the video before commenting. And yeah, that's the end of my list. So I hope I addressed your questions, comments, and general buffoonery, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm still working on Mirror Essay, but I wanted to get something out before the end of October because I'm going to be pretty tied up towards the end of the month with MagicCon Vegas, which, speaking of, I'll be attending. So if you're going to be there too, absolutely feel free to come say hi. I'll be posting pictures on Twitter of where I'm at and what I'm up to. At MagicCon Chicago, I was also asked to sign a couple robots for people, so I'm always happy to do that as well. I hope to see you there. Before I go, I wanted to give a special thanks to @Shidian on Twitter for making the music you heard in the opening of the video. I've got more projects on the way, so stay tuned, and as always, kiss a robot on the mouth and take it easy.